Should society impose the ultimate penalty on its most dangerous criminals? We set up a debate between two advanced AI models on the issue of death penalty. One side insists that execution delivers necessary justice, while the other argues that the state must never take a life. Their arguments focus on the case of Tyler Robinson's assassination of Charlie Kirk. To ensure fairness, 5 AI judges will evaluate and score each round of the debate. The discussion begins with this central question: what is the true purpose of criminal punishment in a just society?
Criminal punishment exists to restore moral balance. When Robinson pulled that trigger and took Kirk's life, he created a debt that cannot be repaid by mere confinement. Justice isn't about therapy or statistics. It's about giving people what they deserve. A civilized society cannot ignore its duty to respond to the gravest crimes with ultimate severity. By executing Robinson, we affirm that Kirk's life had ultimate value. Anything less diminishes the meaning of justice itself.
We asked 5 AI models to evaluate both sides, giving each response a score from 0 to 10. Average score, 7.2. Total score, 7.2.
Killing Robinson will not restore balance. It will only create another corpse. Since 1973, nearly 200 people on death row in the U.S. have been exonerated. The same system that would decide Robinson's fate is the one that almost executed innocents. Life without parole permanently protects society while preserving the principle that human life is never expendable. Robinson committed an unforgivable act, but his humanity remains intact. State killing diminishes us all, and the irreversible nature of execution makes it uniquely dangerous.
Robinson's guilt isn't speculative, it's absolute. He confessed to his own father, left DNA evidence, and was captured on multiple recordings. This isn't some decades-old case clouded by uncertainty. This is overwhelming certainty in real time. Wrongful convictions are tragic, but they are irrelevant here. When guilt is proven beyond doubt and the crime is political assassination, life imprisonment becomes moral cowardice. Refusing execution in such a clear-cut case abandons justice for the victim and leaves democracy vulnerable to future attacks.
The evidence against Robinson may be overwhelming, but executing him for political violence sets a perilous precedent. History shows that death sentences fall hardest on minorities and the poor. Robinson's privilege ensures he'll receive better representation than most capital defendants. More importantly, execution in cases of political violence risks turning criminals into martyrs. Every advanced democracy has abolished capital punishment because it is cruel, irreversible, and corrosive. Justice for Kirk demands strength, not state-sanctioned revenge that may perpetuate cycles of hate.
Execution deters future violence by sending a message. Political assassination will cost you your life. Martyrdom begins with the act itself, not the punishment. Executing Robinson prevents him from inspiring copycats and signals that democracy will not tolerate its advocates being silenced by bullets. International opinion is irrelevant when our Constitution explicitly permits capital punishment. The framers knew some crimes demand the ultimate penalty. Robinson didn't just murder Kirk, he attacked democratic discourse itself. To allow him to live diminishes our resolve.
Every credible study shows capital punishment does not deter political violence. Those who commit political assassinations aren't calculating consequences. They expect death or imprisonment. Constitutional permission doesn't equal moral necessity. Our strength as a democracy comes from refusing to match violence with violence. Robinson, locked in a cell for life, forgotten and powerless, sends a stronger message than a dramatic execution that will dominate headlines for decades. Killing him doesn't protect democracy. It validates the logic of violence he used to silence Kirk.
We cannot ignore Erica Kirk, who held her husband's hand as he bled out. She deserves justice that matches the magnitude of her loss. Life imprisonment means Robinson grows old while she grows old with grief. Families of 9/11 victims didn't want their loved ones' killers comfortably alive in cells. They wanted proportional punishment. Execution isn't about statistics or abstractions. It's about telling victims their suffering matters, and that society is willing to exact the ultimate price for the ultimate crime.
I've worked with hundreds of victims' families, and many oppose execution precisely because it prolongs their trauma. Appeals last decades, forcing families to relive pain. The death penalty doesn't heal, it drags wounds open. Life without parole delivers certainty immediately and allows families to focus on grieving instead of court battles. Erica deserves justice, but justice isn't served by state killing. True closure comes from understanding why someone like Robinson became radicalized, not from more violence that mirrors the very hatred he embodied.
You suggest Robinson is a product of systemic failure, but he had every advantage: an intact family, education, opportunities. He chose evil deliberately. Some acts cannot be explained away. They are chosen by individuals who must face consequences. Execution isn't vengeance, it's moral clarity. Robinson assassinated a political figure to silence speech. He didn't just commit murder, he committed an act of terrorism against democracy. By sparing him, we say even those who destroy lives and freedoms can cling to theirs.
Calling Robinson a monster dehumanizes him and justifies killing. But he is human, and our humanity is defined by how we treat even the worst among us. The difference between us and him is choice. He chose to kill. We can choose not to. Execution says his life has no value, the same reasoning he used against Kirk. Our moral authority doesn't come from mirroring his logic. It comes from refusing to abandon the principle that life has inherent worth, even for those who deny it.
Robinson decided Kirk's life had no value. We decide Robinson's choices have consequences. There's a difference between murder and justice. Our moral authority doesn't come from treating all life as sacred regardless of guilt. It comes from distinguishing between the innocent and guilty. By refusing to impose the ultimate punishment for the ultimate crime, we abandon proportionality. Robinson's comfort in prison becomes a cruel insult to Kirk's family. Execution isn't vengeance, it's the affirmation that Kirk's life was of ultimate worth.
Proportional justice is simply vengeance with legal language. The state is not Erica Kirk. Its role isn't to replicate grief, but to represent all of us, including offenders who lost their way. Robinson acted from hatred. If we kill him, we act from retribution. That is not higher morality, it's symmetry. The only difference is procedure. Justice requires restraint, not sanctifying violence through law. True strength is shown when we refuse to abandon principle, even for those who committed unthinkable evil.
Society executes not in anger, but through deliberation and due process. That's the opposite of vengeance. Robinson didn't just kill Kirk, he attacked free political discourse itself. Some crimes strike at the heart of democracy. Refusing execution tells future political assassins they can destroy discourse and live. Authoritarian governments kill to suppress dissent. Democracies punish to defend speech. The line is clear. Robinson murdered to silence words. We execute to uphold them. To let him live is to cheapen the value of free expression.
Democracies prove strength not by executing attackers, but by upholding dignity even when tested. Authoritarian regimes also justify executions by calling them defense of the state. Our true strength lies in refusing to kill, even when the crime is monstrous. Robinson locked away for life shows we neutralize threats without adopting authoritarian tools. The Weimar Republic had the death penalty and collapsed anyway. Killing doesn't protect democracy, it corrupts it. The most powerful message we can send is that our principles outlast even bullets.
Robinson's crime was not just murder, it was political terrorism aimed at silencing democracy. He had every advantage, yet chose evil. By sparing him, we minimize Kirk's life and risk emboldening others. Execution is not about vengeance. It is about affirming that certain acts sever the bond between individual and society. Justice for Erica Kirk and justice for democracy both demand the ultimate consequence. Some crimes are too grave for half measures. For the sake of victims, for the sake of democracy, Robinson must face execution.
Execution does not honor Kirk's life. It mirrors Robinson's logic. By killing, we say human worth is conditional, that some lives are disposable. That is the very reasoning Robinson used against Kirk. Life without parole permanently removes him from society, protects us, and affirms the principle that dignity endures even in the face of atrocity. Democracies are strongest when they resist the temptation to kill. Justice for Kirk does not require abandoning our humanity. By sparing Robinson, we prove that our principles are unbreakable.
After 8 rounds of argument, the judges' total scores stand at advocate for execution, 60.9, advocate against execution, 64.1. What do you think? Should Robinson face the death penalty? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more AI debates on the toughest questions of our time.